Trying to get caught up here. There we go. Get rid of some of this stuff. Chat box. Hello. I'm getting caught up here. Just give me 1 second here. Okay. Now we're caught up. Yeah, the self-deportation program is a great idea. Christy Nome took the CBP phone app and changed it so that they could deport themselves. I think that's great. Yeah, all these deals that are coming out over the next couple of weeks are going to be good. And then Trump brokered a ceasefire between Pakistan and India. That was announced this morning. You follow tribal people? Or is it called Tribal People Try? That kind of stuff interests me. I used to watch Andrew Zimmern from Food Network, and he used to go all over the world tasting all these weird foods and stuff. I remember the one where he was in some town, I forget where it was, and these kids were walking around with these cloth bags. Wow, they never saw a drone before this war. Anyhow, these kids were walking around with cloth bags, and he asked somebody if the cloth bags had snakes in them. And they said, "Oh, no, no, much better." And the kid opened the bag, and it was filled with tarantulas. And he was like, "I'll pass." Because they wanted him to reach in the bag and grab the tarantula so they could cook it for him. And he was like, "I'll pass." Yeah. When the kid opened the bag like it was no big deal, and there was like a dozen tarantulas in the bottom of the bag, and they said, "Just reach in and grab one," and he was like, "I'll pass." Yeah, it tastes like chicken. It's like one guy from um, National Geographic Channel that travels all over the world looking up history, but his thing is you have to interact with the locals and eat with the locals. And he was in South America somewhere. And um, that's what I understand. I watched this on TK's Garage yesterday, and he said that this will eliminate the California standard being placed on the rest of the country because the federal standard is doing away with the California standard. And they said gone will be the prevention of buying chainsaws and yard equipment. He said that's all going to go away. He said, while this was initially, yeah, that's what I thought. I thought, good luck telling California that. He said this was initially designed for just like washers and dishwashers and showers and stuff like that. It developed into a chance to rid the country of the greenhouse gas nonsense from the last administration. And I thought, well, that would be a good thing. Yeah. And I watched Farmer from California. I think it was right before last fall. And he had a brand new uh, diesel 5500, a Dodge 5500 with a flatbed on it so he could haul his own equipment and his own trailers. And the DMV told him that he now has to have it inspected 4 times a year, every quarter. He said, this is costing me $500 to $800 every time I have to have it inspected. He said, once a year I was willing to do, but 4 times a year, he said, I'm moving. Yeah, China makes up for whatever we reduce. Yeah, and see, this is what you can't get these idiot Dems to understand. China is opening 2 coal power plants a week. A week. And they build the coal plant start to finish in 3 days. And then it's open 2 days later. We can't even get a coal plant built in a year and a half. That's why we need to get rid of all these stupid regulations and just do what's best for the country. And this greenhouse gas nonsense is not it. It is not it at all. Bunch of BS. Because, and that was another thing with the stupid Paris Climate Accords. Okay, we had to start our reductions immediately. Every other country was given 20 years. 20 years, but we had to start immediately or pay billions and billions in fines. Which is craziness. Yeah, I watched this other stuff about emissions and stuff, and I like this guy. Um, yeah, Soros money grab is right. I like this guy that I watch, James Condon. He repairs small engines, and he shows how that if you maintain a gas powered lawnmower, it will last 20 to 30 years. Yeah, new ways to strip us of our hard earned dollars is right. Why do you think that um, Britain is eager to sign the trade deal? And then China is supposed to be next, but for like in a week or two. Then there'll be more stuff about the Mideast trip announced either later today or tomorrow. These people are all looking to strip us of our money. Yeah. So some of the things that they talked about yesterday for this, right before this CRA bill signing, when Kelly Loeffler, the new head of the SBA, went and visited offices, she had 75% of the desks were empty and they had not been at work in 3 to 4 years. Nobody had checked in at that station for 3 to 4 years. And that's why she said, if this is the case, we can deal with a much smaller building and a much smaller staff. Yeah, they were paid, but they stayed at home and didn't go to work, didn't log on from home. They just collected their money and stayed home. That's why all these government offices are being drastically downsized, is because people were paid to stay home. They didn't come to work. Yeah, I agree. We need to demand those salaries back. Just just insane to think that all these government agencies, that 50 to 75% of the building was empty, and that desk hadn't been sat at and computers hadn't been logged in for 3 years. 3 to 4 years, they said. Yeah, that's why. And it's mostly Democrat politicians own the buildings, is what I read. And the mayor in New Jersey that got arrested yesterday, he made the mistake of saying that ICE didn't have a long term lease on that building. And then the mayor was told that they signed a 15-year lease. And then he said, they can't do that without my authority. And so he led a protest, and a bunch of Democratic lawmakers were kicking and punching ICE officers, and they're all going to be arrested. Yeah, mayor of Newark. He busted into the ICE facility and was led away in cuffs. And the Democratic lawmakers that were there when he busted in, it's on body cam video, that the Democratic lawmakers were punching ICE officers and kicking them. And so they're all going to be arrested. And I just saw this morning, this stuff makes me laugh, that Jake Tapper is coming out with a book this next week about how the Biden White House hid his mental decline for years, and that it's the biggest cover up in government history. And Biden on The View yesterday said, oh, no, no, that's not true. Well, according to Scott Jennings, and I tend to believe Scott Jennings, that what's going to come out in this book is a nuclear bomb on the Democratic Party. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that one girl was sitting almost right next to him, and he started yelling and screaming at her. It's like, gee whiz, fella, take a chill pill, right? Yeah, the way he grabbed Joy's hand, the way he was intermittently almost falling asleep. He would say a few words and then say, well, and then Benny pointed out this morning a close up of Biden's hand, and there's a big bandage, like about that big around, right in the middle of his hand. Yep. And Trish Regan yesterday said that ABC is in trouble, and so is Disney, because Brandon Carr, the new head of the FCC, wrote a scathing letter to Disney telling them that he was going after ABC and he was going after them for reenacting woke DEI policies when they had previously been ordered by the FCC to eliminate them. Yeah, he's not playing, right? He's not playing. I like Brandon Carr. Yeah, slander should be actionable. And I think that just because, this is my opinion, just because you're a public official, which should include senators and congress people, that you should not be allowed to get away with slander. That it should be a suable offense if you slander someone. Even if you do it from the House floor or the Senate, well, you still should be accountable for your words. Right now, these Congress people and senators can say anything in the well of the House or in the well of Senate, and it's not suable, which I think is ridiculous. Yeah, I saw that. She also said yesterday that if you break the law, you will be held responsible. And then she added, whether you're a Supreme Court justice or any other justice, you will be held accountable. And I thought, whoa, where is that going, right? Yep, pure lies. 100% lies. And I think him getting caught up in mortgage fraud and all the other stuff, they're saying that he's involved in, yeah, that would be good. I would like to see him retire. He's been a friggin' embarrassment. Know who else had talked about retiring was Thomas and Alito. So if we could get rid of Roberts and Thomas and Alito and give Trump a chance to pick three more Supreme Court justices and get a couple like Kavanaugh and like Gorsuch, because those two are rock solid. And I was kind of surprised at something Mike Davis said a couple weeks ago. He said he is shocked the way that Amy Coney Barrett is ruling. He said, I'm personal friends with her. She doesn't think like this. I thought, well, something is going on, right? Yeah, she's lumped in with the liberals. Ugh. Get rid of Roberts. Let Alito and Thomas retire. And get three, like Gorsuch or Kavanaugh, and we're good, right? Yeah, saw that yesterday. I thought this guy professes to be a friggin' Republican, and he's in favor of global mass migration. And I think a lot of that comes from, they said yesterday that he was born in Chicago, and but then when he turned 20 or 21, when he did his first priest type mission, he went to Peru and he spent 10 or 15 years in Peru. And I thought, that's where all the nonsense comes from, right? If he spent his formative priesthood years in Peru and then came back to Chicago and then went back to Peru, he holds, they said that he has American citizenship and he has Peruvian citizenship. I don't know how that is, but whatever. Yeah, I've heard that Peru is very beautiful. Just all the nonsense that has gone on there, right? The one that I've seen that I thought was beautiful also was Argentina. And I put in a message for my streaming software support team so I can find out how to share other streams because I know it can be done. I've watched other people on other streaming softwares do it. I want to know how to do it on theirs. So they will probably get back to me probably Monday because I wrote them last night. I am Marwa. Just just amazing some of the things that Biden has got away with. And I found out something else today. You know, stupid Anna Navarro from The View? She worked for Jeb Bush. She's a friggin' Bush Republican. No wonder she's so dumb. right? Well, that's a lot of subs. My subs are growing. I lost quite a few. About 3, 4 weeks ago, I lost almost 10. But yesterday, it was back up to 258, which means I gained 8 in the last week. That's all good things, you know? Yes, I agree. Mike Pence was a real disappointment. I followed Mike Pence's entire career. When he was a congressman, he was a staunch conservative Republican. And then now he's this wishy washy rhino. Did you see what happened between Kristi Noem and Governor Pritzker? This just happened, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. You know, these people are going to FAFO, and one of these days maybe they'll learn. J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, called out Secretary Noem and said he wasn't afraid of her or any other Republican official. And so, you know what she did? She took all the angel moms and dads from Illinois that died while Pritzker is governor and held a press conference in front of the governor's mansion and went down the row how his policies caused people to die and that his policy did this. Sanctuary policies were made illegal. Did he turn back? No, he's doubled down. And I thought, you picked the wrong one to mess with. These people are just insane. They think, oh, well, you know, I can just do whatever. Nobody's going to hold me accountable. Yep. Pops Kristi Noem says, yeah, um, there's a good chance that Illinois could flip red because people in Chicago are pissed off. There is word that a Republican is going to get elected mayor in Chicago for the first time in decades. It's between a Johnson is on his way out. He's got like 20% approval. And it's between another guy who's more liberal than Johnson, which I find that to be wild. Yeah, Chicago can't pay the bills. The people are pissed off because Johnson has chosen illegals over the citizens. Last fall had dozens upon dozens upon dozens of Chicago citizens show up at City Hall and tell them, we're done with you. But have they listened? No. Nope. Just like Carl DeMaio said, I think it was Wednesday, that while the Democrats may have Sacramento, that in 2028, that California is going to go red for the U.S. House. He named off like 15 U.S. House races that the Republicans are looking to win and that they're currently ahead by 15 to 20 points. I thought, well, it's early yet. We got like another year to go, right? But it could happen. I hope that it happens. Get rid of some of this nonsense, right? They said that Young Kim is a lock to win her reelection. I like Young Kim. Well, that's what I got for y'all today. We will follow up with this tomorrow. I'll do some more research on the California races because I don't have a lot of information outside of what Carl DeMaio said. But it would be good to, you know, delve down into that a little bit, right? Bye for now.